friends. Welcome back to another Pick a Card Tarot reading. My name is JP and this is JUNODROME Tarot. So today I have a really interesting one for you. So this started out as readings that were going to be specifically for breaking blockages in your third eye chakra, but as I dealt these cards out, it became very clear to me that they were going to be a lot more than that. So these are going to be readings for clearing energetic blockages in general. And they're specifically going to be some messages from and working with certain archangels. So if you don't necessarily subscribe to working with any kind of angel or angelic energy, that's okay. But the beginning part of these readings are going to be reading a channeled message specifically from a specific archangel. So take it as it resonates for you. Take it how you're feeling with it. These are going to be general messages for everyone, though, on what you need to hear to clear some sort of energetic blockage that you might be experiencing currently. So there are 5 different piles to choose from today, and in a moment I'll show you the piles a lot closer so you can choose which one is really calling out to you. These messages will be some in-depth tarot readings as well as a channeled message. So I don't know what the cards are in your readings yet, but I do know who the archangel is that wants to speak to you and help you with your particular energetic blockage. So this is going to be clearing energetic issues. And I am planning on doing some light Reiki as well, if you're open to receiving it. So in your reading, there may be some Reiki energy work as well. So tune into that. Down below in the description section of this video, you can find a link to your reading. It will link to where within the video your reading lies. So in a moment, I'm going to show you all of the piles. Choose from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and click on the link to your reading. Anyway, I will see you soon, and thanks for tuning in. Bye. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading for how can you help clear your energetic blockages. So if you have energetic blockages within you right now, we all tend to have them come up a lot. There's particularly utilizing Reiki healing can help you with this, and I might do a little bit of Reiki at the end of this reading, I think, probably. So we'll see how it goes. But basically, we're all connected, energetically, and each different part of our bodies can connect to different sorts of emotional energy points. If you want to subscribe to this particular philosophy, it can be really helpful to visualize and feel using, not like feel physically, but internally, to feel these energy connections out, because it can help you work through things by visualizing in this way. So I view things in this manner, and it really helps me out. So we're going to be looking at, what are some things emotionally, potentially, that can help clear out some blockages, some things that might be keeping you stuck in this particular moment. So like I said, even if things are relatively good in your life right now, there could always be something there. So you chose the pile with this whale here. Pretty great. And a really awesome message here. It says, look within, look within. Yeah, I love that. So hopefully there's no glare on these. It's hard to tell. Anyway, let's dive in. So we've got the whale. We'll put the whale over here. And like I said in the intro, specifically, we are working with archangels in this reading. So like I said, you don't necessarily have to always work with the archangels to be here right now and to benefit from whatever energy clearing we're going to do tonight or today, whenever you're watching this. So just keep an open mind. And if you want to just visualize things as being purely about connecting with your own subconscious and coming up with what you need to hear from that, that's perfectly fine. So take the archangel work with a grain of salt. If you're here for the whole thing, that's great too. Either way. So the card that I drew for you was Raziel. So I specifically, when I dealt these cards, called on the archangel Raziel to help bring some messages for you, and I channeled messages for each one of these piles as well that I wrote down. So we'll get into the channeled message in a moment. Now, once upon a time, I put together this little deck for myself of some of the, I think like 12 of the most known archangels, just for me to help learn who they were and that kind of thing. And so I wrote down some notes here to kind of talk about the energy of what this is. And, for, once again, these archangels, you don't have to necessarily imagine them as like people with wings, right? Although you could definitely. It's just like these. I feel like archangel for me is like a term to just put a name on some kind of transcendent, multidimensional energy, right? That's how I conceive it. So you do you. But when I meditated on this particular energy once upon a time, I felt very much like it was a masculine energy, felt very masculine to me. And some of the notes about what this energy is supposed to be like: he's supposed to be helping you with spiritual knowledge, esoteric understanding, recalling wisdom of past lives, breaking bonds from past lives, etc., with rainbow colors and clear quartz being some of the signs. So anyway, that's a little bit of that information. So before we dive into the actual tarot reading, let's take a look at what the channeled messages were. So I wrote like a whole big paper here. So I'll just read it to you, and then hopefully it's a message that connects to you right now. So, to those seeking upliftment in times of challenge and difficulty, I have this to say. Though the world faces strife, and you too may experience this strife within your being, as well as without in your day-to-day life, there is more to living than pain. You came to see for yourself the true gift of humanity, that despite the challenges faced, and this is not to discount those challenges, mind you, because pain is real and not something to be discounted. But despite these challenges, the human spirit can expand beyond and continue to create beauty. How can you create beauty in your own life? How can you create joy for yourself, not pretending like life is not hard or telling yourself you've done something wrong for having experienced hardship, but instead creating joy and beauty in the face of the pain? How can you create happiness and joy in your life as a targeted and subversive act to spite the pain? To overcome is not a folly or a hollow fool's gold pursuit. It is a transformative expression of your own personal slice of divinity, your true humanity. Okay, so yeah, this this is great. It was very very heady, so very interesting, because not all of the channeled messages are like that. I don't do channeled messages often. It's something I'm exploring, so that was fun. Anyway, very much this message of sort of it felt very much like if you want to make things better, or just because things are hard, it doesn't necessarily mean that can discount the beauty of life as well, and that there's an importance in connecting to the beautiful things, even if you're in pain, right? So let's take a look at these cards to kind of get a better understanding of what this reading is about. So we have Temperance, the Knight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Five of Pentacles, or sorry, the Five of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. Okay, so I feel like there's some slow moving energy here, definitely. And there's a lot of hold on. Yeah, okay. I get what this is saying. So basically, in order to understand yourself more, because this is talking about blockages and things, I feel as though there's an importance to reframe your journey in life so far. There's a real importance in that, because I'm getting the sense from this that there may have been for you, I'll put it this way, right? Life is never one way, right? Things are never just good, just bad, right? All experiences kind of contain a little bit of everything. And so there's sort of this balancing act going on here about how to understand not only just like where you are in life, but where you've come from, what you've experienced. As we move through life, we're left with the memories of our experiences, and that's a filter, right? It's important to remember that, right? Because if you think about it, there's no way for you to have in your mind at one moment literally every single thing that you've been through, right? Because depending on how old you are, you've been through a lot of experiences at this point, and you've experienced many, 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 many days, moments, seconds. You think about it. Think about how much happens in one single day, and then think about how many single days you've actually lived in your lifetime. So there's no way to keep all of that in your head at once. And so we have a tendency to, or we just have to, based on the necessity of reality and the way that our brains work, we have to filter out the memories when we review the past. And so sometimes it can become very, very easy to think back on all of the situations here, this Five of Wands, all the situations where things didn't work out, maybe, where we weren't happy about things. It's easy to, every now and then think about like, I should have done this way. And oh man, that one thing that happened to me in 5th grade was so embarrassing. I can't believe I didn't do X, Y, and Z in that moment, blah, 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 right? Like, it's so easy to have those moments be the ones that pop up into our minds over and over and over again. And they create sort of a false narrative, right? Because those moments are, we build them into ourselves as our identities, and then we identify as those moments, right? When in reality, like, think about all the wins that you've had in your life as well. Like, I don't care who you are, you've had many, many wins in a lifetime so far. And so, it's important to ask yourself, are you recording that for yourself? Are you paying attention to those things? And that's a real importance here. And that's a part of, I think, what that channeled message was saying, is sort of like tuning into this idea that the most important thing is the frame that you put on the experience, right? And that, like, even when things are not working out, and that particular reading did, channeled message also talked a lot about the external stuff, right? Saying like, the difficulties that are in the world right now. And so maybe potentially if you're watching this, you're kind of getting hung up on that stuff, which is fair, because like there's a lot of really challenging things happening in the world right now. it feels like things are falling apart in a lot of ways. And the stability of what we've known definitely feels like it's being upended right now, and that is scary. And so I think it's easy to take that and internalize that and use it as an attack against ourselves, right? And to further that, like mixing those two things together, like not only are you maybe potentially internalizing the difficulties of the world and your own personal life in this moment, but you're also using that as a feedback loop to think back of all of the times that things haven't worked out for you, and when things could have been some other way, and all of that kind of stuff. And so I think there's a real need to take a bit of a pause here and to reframe what's going on within, to help you see the without differently too, right? Because like, that message of joy being a subversive act, meaning like if you want to really change the world, right, you conforming to the fear narrative that's being shared so much throughout everything, like you conforming to that within yourself only continues that fear narrative, right? Whereas if you want to change that, and even if you want to change it just within your own mind, it's going to require being sort of subversive, right? In that, meaning it's going to require a sense of going against the conventional, going against how everyone else is framing things right now, and coming up with a new way of perceiving even just the smallest amount of things, so that you can move through the world even when things are seemingly being destroyed around you, from a very solid inner sense of what you feel needs to be, right? And so there's a lot of that in this, as sort of like a trial by fire sort of a feeling to this, where there's a necessity almost to be able to, and this is the energetic clearing work that you're working on right now. It's like there's a necessity in this for you to be able to transmute. And here we have the Temperance, which is exactly this transmutation. Transmute that external crap, the difficulty, the turmoil, that external fear, to be able to, within yourself, and this is the go within message here, look within yourself, to transmute that into like the joy narrative, the happiness, that kind of key to switching it, right? Because that's the only way, if the only way for it to change externally is for us to each individually take that and create something different out of it, right? To be subversive to the narrative that everything is horrible, right? Because there's a lot that's horrible. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of hard to be alive right now and not see that, right? But just because that's the case doesn't mean that beautiful things don't exist as well, right? And that happiness is a state of being that it's not necessarily the result of stuff or accumulating or achieving or any of that. It's actually the result of an internal state of being, and learning how to be in that sense of calm regardless of the external circumstances, that you have the control to do that. And it's harder, it's not as easy said as done, right? I'm not pretending that it is, but there's a certain sense of needing to be able to do that kind of work. So let's see, you've got more cards here. Got the Daughter of Cups, which is the Page of Cups in most decks. Ten of Cups, absolutely. The Father of Cups, which is the King of Cups in most decks. A lot of Cups energy, which is really quite beautiful, and fitting for this. Three of swords, or yeah, Three of Swords, and Two of Pentacles. Okay, this makes a lot of sense here. There really is. There's no discounting the pain that you've been through. Three of Hearts, like it was saying in that channeled message. There's no discounting the strife, right? Nobody is here pretending like the pain didn't happen. That would be spiritual bypassing, right? And that's not what I'm recommending here. Happiness as an internal state doesn't mean that difficult things don't happen, and it doesn't mean that we can't feel challenging feelings, right? There's a real importance in feeling all of your feelings, no matter what they are, because if you don't, then you're burying them, and then they're going to come back as shadow, and they're going to F with your life in ways you don't like, right? That's just how it works. Emotions are there. They're there to be felt. So this isn't a message of covering your ears and going la la la, everything's fine. No. What it was saying is, like, you take that pain and you show it happiness, right? With the Cups energy, right? You feel very deeply, but you take it in this Temperance and you transmute it. And instead of giving the world a negative reaction back, you give it compassion and kindness and beauty and joy as the subversive act, right? As the challenge to it. You're not doing it naively. You're not doing it pretending like the difficulty doesn't exist. You're doing it as the fight. That is the fight. That is the battle, is the compassion, is the kindness. It's not saying that the difficulty doesn't exist. It's taking the difficulty and saying, I see you. I'm with you. I'm feeling you. This pain is real. It is mine. I feel it. And I take that and I show the world my love anyway. Anyway. Not even just despite it, but because of it, right? That is my ability to heal myself and the world. And that, I think, is a part of where this blockage is coming in. You don't have to do this externally. In fact, doing it internally is more important than the external. It's much more important to be doing it to yourself, right? This could be the battle within, the Lover's card. It's the fight that's happening on the inside. You see the pain within you. You feel the blockage of your own heart because of all of the horrible things you've seen, you've been through, that you know of. We can't be on this planet without feeling all of that stuff. And some of us have experienced more than others. Some people, I just think about what's happening in Iran right now. People are being murdered on the street. There's like really horrible things happening on this planet. There's no sense in pretending like it doesn't exist. In fact, it's dangerous to do so. So that's not what I'm advocating here. What I'm saying is, in spite of and because of that, if you have the power and the freedom in this moment to share beauty with the world, it is more important than ever to do so. And just sharing kindness with yourself alone, which is fine, that alone is enough. That alone is enough. Because if you can do it for yourself, you heal the inner stuff, then what you're sharing with the world just by interacting with the world. And you cannot live on planet Earth without interacting in the world. You are an embodied human being here having a human experience. This isn't just thoughts. This is you experiencing life. By you doing that internal transmutation of mixing these forces within to create a sense of inner solidness, right? Not just fortitude, or I don't know if it said fortitude in there, but I'm getting all of this lofty language, but it's like, regardless of that, like, by you becoming the Rock, right? And not just the actor The Rock, but maybe, I don't know him well enough, but you know what I mean? Like, becoming solid within. It means as you interact with the world, things don't faze you as much. And that alone is seen by others. And that becomes inspirational just by you being and existing and showing up in the world and not being afraid to be yourself and to move through this planet with a sense of beauty and calm and joy. Like if you're being able to do that in the midst of the darkness, that alone is not only a subversive act, like I keep saying. I think I saw a meme about that once, and that's where my brain is just using that, but I'm using it as a jumping off point. And this was a channeled message, so, but anyway, it's embodying love at the end of the day, allowing yourself to embody compassion and to show it to yourself first. There's no way to embody compassion without showing it to yourself. And if you don't show it to yourself, then you are living in a split here. That's the thing about the Lovers is when it refers to the self, right? This isn't one person living another. It's talking about the fusion of the parts of the self. If you don't allow yourself to fuse these things, right? I talked a little bit about the shadow and the subconscious. When you don't feel the emotion, you don't feel the pain, you don't feel it. You're blocking that off. You're creating a division within yourself, and that dichotomy will always be fighting, right? And so even if you show love and kindness to the outside world, if you're not showing it to yourself, then it's hollow, and it will feel hollow to the outside world. People won't see it as authentic because it isn't, because you're not applying the same thing to yourself, right? It will appear as weakness to those willing to take. And it probably, true compassion also appears that way to those who would take. So don't take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if I fully believe what I just said, but what am I trying to say here? I think mostly at the end of the day, by showing yourself this kind of compassion and becoming real solid with yourself, you'll be able to go off and do all of these things that you want to do that really can transform the world. It's the only way to bring the world into balance is to bring yourself into balance. And I'm getting this sense here that maybe you're the kind of person who thinks more about the external than the internal, and maybe you are deeply concerned with the external world right now, and because of that, you're not really thinking about the inner world, and that's where your own blockages are coming from right now. I think that you're concerning yourself with the external world too much. You aren't considering what's going on inside as much as I think you need to, because it's important to remember at the end of the day, these two worlds actually are the same. They reflect one another. Your inner being and your external reality are not as divided as Western culture has brought us to believe. They're actually very intertwined in ways that are strange and unexplored and unknown at this point. And so, I feel that, because we got a whale here. Whales live deep under the ocean. So it's like there's this whale in your subconscious that wants to come out here. And I think that maybe there is this sort of inner division here, like I've been mentioning. And so, there's an importance, I think, in this to really tune into yourself and figure out what it is that's going on in there and healing that inner being. Because once you're able to show yourself even this kind of compassion, I think just like you think about advertising, right? And like everything around us is constantly trying to tell us that we don't have enough, we are not enough, that our being is not good enough, so that you'll go out and you buy stuff, right? It's an advertising tactic. In order to get you to spend money on something, you have to believe you need it, right? That you are missing something that you need, and the money will gain that for you, right? And so because of that, I think we internalize these really harmful inner narratives about not being enough, simply because it's expedient for the external culture to get you to buy stuff, right? So by telling yourself that you are enough and that you have enough and that it is enough right now, even like you don't even need to, you might feel like you need to grow spiritually, or you need to like work on things inner, you need to heal yourself and all of these things. You might feel that way, but even in an unhealed state, even in not having all those things, whatever, like, you're still enough right here, right now. You're still worthy of love right here, right now. And so I think it's just important to remind yourself that. And I think that by doing that, that's what's going to heal this inner blockage for you. And, I think this could be a third eye message, a blockage of the third eye. In order to see the spiritual stuff, there needs to be an acknowledgement of your own power, right? An acceptance that you have enough to do whatever you need, and that you're okay as you are. Yeah. Anyway, pile number 1, I'm going to leave you there. I hope you got enough from this. Oh, I was going to do some Reiki. Okay, so just repeat after me really quick. If you want to participate in the Reiki, just say, I am open to the spiritual and energetic healing that is about to be given to me. I know that it is within my highest good to receive this, and I'm open to receiving this only if it is within my highest good. If you say something like that. And now I'm going to, hold on. It's been a minute since I've done Reiki. Okay, so first I'm gathering energy from the universe, from the world around me. And I'm taking that, and I am forming a nice packet of energy here. Now I'm taking it, and I am forming it. And I take that, and it goes off to wherever it needs to be within you. So hopefully that works. If you felt that it worked, then it did. And even if you didn't, if you accept that it's possible, be open to it. Who knows? Anyway, pile number 1, that's it from me. I hope that this message landed well for you. This is powerful. I feel like this is a very... I'm trying to bring my stuff to the next level, I feel that with this reading. So let me know what you think either way in the comments. Shout out to my editor, Preston. Thanks for editing these for me. It's helping me be able to actually do these, because it's nice to have somebody keeping you accountable, Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, pile number 1. At the moment, I am not doing private readings. I don't know when I will start them again. It might be a long time, just based on my life right now. I can't fit them in. But if you need to contact me or you want to say hi, you can still find me on my website. That's www.junodrome.com. I'm there, so say hi. And definitely leave a comment, subscribe, like this video. It helps out. And keep watching my stuff. We're getting close to being a real YouTube channel. It's exciting. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you later. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be a reading on clearing energetic blockages. So these will be messages to help you clear some of the energy that's being blocked within you, what that is about for you, where you're getting these blockages from. And so for this reading, there's a couple of parts. There'll be some Reiki energy clearing at the very end of this reading. Before we get into that, it's starting out with some channeled messages. So I connected in with archangels for this reading. So if you don't necessarily subscribe to believing in archangels or wanting to work with these energies, that's okay, but that's kind of the frame that this entire reading is around. So however you feel about that, there's going to be messages here for everybody though, so regardless of what you want to think about. Now, for your reading, I channeled a message here, and we're working with the Archangel Jeremiel. And so I made up these little cards a little while ago on different archangels and sort of my own meditation on their energy, sort of some notes. So for me, this particular archangel felt masculine focused. And some of the notes that I got from research are showing that this person works with life review, seeing your life from a greater perspective. Some colors: dark purple, stone, amethyst. So just that's some things. Now, for your reading, the message was very particular. So when I read the channeled message, if it doesn't feel like it applies to you in your life right now, that's okay. Maybe a different pile will fit you better, but there's some very specific messages in that, so we'll see if it fits you. Now, you chose the reading with the clouds here and the wheat, and the back of the card says chase the sunset. Interesting. So there might be some kind of twilight messages for this. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Put that there. Okay, so now I'm gonna read the channeled message I got for you guys. So it says, don't worry about it. Just don't. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I'm going to keep being blunt. Just don't. Stop. Put it down. There's no reason for you to keep this up. And you know it, and I know it. So why do you keep playing with yourself like this? There's only one person you're hurting here, and it's yourself. Even though you keep pretending like you're preventing other people from being hurt by taking the pain inside yourself, you're wrong. Taking pain within doesn't prevent it from spreading, and making the ones you love watch you as you go through the hurt because you think it's helping prevent them from getting hurt is actually putting the pain onto them anyway. So stop and rethink this thing. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, a very particular message here. So if you feel like that applies to your life, great. And if not, maybe there's another reading for you. But let's keep reading here. We've got a bunch of cards. So we'll start out with the Wild Unknown Tarot, and we have the Devil. Yeah, feeling that one in this one. It doesn't have to be scary, but I mean, you just heard that message, so there's definitely some internal dialogue going on here. The Seven of Swords, interesting. All right, this is a spicy reading. All right, let's do this. Strength, yep, great. And a horn for confirmation, so strength is important for you, definitely. Hold on. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles, nice. Oh, interesting. Okay. And we got the Lovers. All right, there's some interesting stuff here, you know. There's self-sacrifice was a lot going on in this channeled message, so we'll see what that's about. Let's see. I'm showing you all your cards. Two of Wands. Nine of Pentacles again. Wow. Okay. All right. King of Wands. Page of Swords. And Three of Cups. Okay, like I said, this is a very particular reading for very particular people. So if what I'm about to say does not fit your life, that is perfectly fine. Find a different reading. Okay, this is intense. So we're going to work with that. There is a sense here that you are staying in a relationship because you think it's better for everyone to be in this relationship. And take it as it doesn't have to be romantic. This could be any kind of relationship. It could be friendship, could be some kind of family thing, some kind of situationship, whatever. You're in this thing because you think that it is better for you to stay in it for the other person, and you do not want to hurt them. I'm really getting that strongly. But in reality, there's some really important aspects of going it on your own here, right? Of doing things on your own, that will actually lead to the happiness that you're looking for. I feel that very strongly. I think, you know, especially with what this channeled message was saying, and like I said, take this as it resonates. That this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, though. I think it is for a fair amount of people here. There's kind of this sense of like feeling like you have to be in this thing because, you know, it's important. Like you're the one keeping it together, right? I get that feeling here. But it's also like you don't want to be in this, or there's something about this situation that is not helpful anymore. And maybe you find yourself daydreaming about doing something else and being somewhere else and not being in this thing. And I think that that's kind of the message here. Okay, all right, let me roll with this. This isn't normally, I'm not normally like so directed like this, but it feels like that is where this needs to be. So I'm just going to trust it. Okay, so there's a sense here. I think that there's a little bit of this, like a couple things, especially with that letter that I wrote, and now, so just from my intuition, I'm getting the sense that there may be both like a self-sacrificing understanding for yourself and also like a people-pleasing kind of a thing, right? And it's easy to get lost in people-pleasing. That was me for most of my life. So it's easy, right? When we grow up in situations where we learn to make other people happy, makes things easier, right? Then that's just what we do, and we do it without thinking. And so we put ourselves aside in order to make the other person happy. And then we think that by them being happy at us, that is happiness for ourselves as well. But in reality, it's not, because you're not happy inside. And I think that you're lying to yourself about that, right? There's the deception card, and I don't always call it that, but in this instance, it's very clear. It's like you're hiding aspects of the situation from yourself here. It seems, with the Nine of Pentacles twice here, it's like there's a fair amount of actual satisfaction in a physical sense. Like this could even be like you put a career idea aside for this person or something like that, where you breaking off on your own could be far more beneficial for you and your life and your situation than whatever it is you happen to be in at this moment. And it's tough, right? It's tough because like you don't want to hurt this person. I feel that. But ultimately, like if you are sacrificing your entire life for the happiness of somebody else, I'll put it to you this way. Would this person be excited for you if you were living the life that made you happy? And if the answer to that is no, they would hate you. They would be jealous of you. They would think, oh man, this person, I can't believe they're off doing their thing and they're being great, and and I'm not anymore. They're not giving that to me anymore. Like, is that really somebody you want to be around? Seriously, consider that. Like, that's not very nice, first of all. Somebody who loves you wants the best for you. Somebody who loves you will celebrate your wins with you, right? And so if you're putting your whole self aside for somebody else, like, are you doing either of you any favors? Are you really doing them any favors for that? Because, maybe they need to learn how to do things for themselves, right? Or maybe they need to learn how to be who they need to be, right? And maybe you doing things for them gets in the way of that. And I'm not saying like leave your family that you've been with for 25 years and you've got like 6-year-olds and like you're gonna get a divorce or something. I'm not telling you to do that. Like don't throw up your whole life because of this one reading, right? Take this as an opportunity to think about things. If it's that kind of situation, if this is a different situation where you already know kind of this stuff and this is just a re-reference point, then take it however you need to. I'm not telling you what to do in this. I'm not telling you to leave somebody, like I said, but I think somebody needs to hear this. Yeah, like I said, this isn't really a message that normally comes to me, which is interesting. I think that's kind of cool. I think that means breaking up, breaking out of the norm. It's good for me as a reader. I'm challenging myself, which is nice. But this whole series is challenging me in a lot of ways. So what do you need to hear in this to really clear this blockages? The Lovers, you know, I hope this isn't really a triggering reading for you, but for some people, I think it's probably going to be regardless. So it's sort of like you got to learn how to be your own lover, you know? Yeah. And not like, that doesn't mean that you got to be alone, right? No, it's just that like there's an importance in knowing yourself first, because then you won't, with that people pleasing stuff, right? By putting everyone else first, by having to make other people happy in order to experience happiness. The thing about that is you get really lost in this sort of anonymity of yourself. You lose who you are. You don't know who you are. You need to have the external gaze on you to know what to do, how to act, how to be. And the problem with that is that you become very susceptible very easily to manipulation. Very easily. Because somebody else could come along who sees that you're doing that, and there's a lot of dog barking. Yeah, there's just like this dog barking energy for this. The devil there too. The hound, the beast. It's not scary. Don't be scared. There's some of that coming in here. It's like that kind of energy will feed off of you if you are give, right? Because like that kind of energy, like the real dark crap, not that it's something to be scared of. It's just more like mosquitoes than anything, you know. But like think about a mosquito, right? Like if you don't swat a mosquito away, it'll just land on you and eat as much as it possibly can until it can't eat anymore. And like, do you really want to get drained like that? You know, think about that from an energetic perspective. There's lots of people out there waiting and willing to take as much as they can from you if you don't know your limits and you don't know how to say no and you don't know boundaries, right? And if you're just out there to make everyone happy regardless of who and regardless of the situation, and I'm speaking from personal experience through all of this, mind you, so don't think I'm just calling the kettle black here. Like I've been here. I've been there. Not fun. The thing about that is that, you know, it's not doing them any favors. It's not helping them to just give and give and give and give. That's not helping them at all. It's certainly not helping you. And, you know, if you get totally drained and you can't give anymore, they will be the first to throw you away and find the next person, right? That kind of person that I'm talking about. And I'm not saying whoever you're with is like that 100% or whatever the situation is that you're talking about a person, but it's important to have that distinction in your mind that some people can be that way, right? Like I said, I'm not saying that this person is that way, but some people can be that way, right? And so it's important to remember that. Now, this letter, I'm just remembering the channeled message. This channeled message was talking about how, like, for actually the people that you love, like holding on to pain can, you know, in a way that you're trying to take it from somebody and like so that they won't get hurt, but then them seeing you and being really sad about how you are is hurting them too. Kind of goes against everything I was just saying. So I think that there's more nuance to this reading than maybe I've been giving it. But I do think somebody needed to hear everything I said already. So I stand by it. Stand by all of that. So for some people, I don't necessarily think that you're in a total like being drained situation here. I think ultimately it's all about balance, right? It's all about balance. You know, the Three of Cups here. There's an importance in like there's a difference between having fun with people, going out, celebrating, having a great time, and then going home when you're tired and going to bed and sleeping afterward. What do I mean by that? I guess I mean like, regardless of your situation, I think what everyone in this reading has in common is a sense of not having strong boundaries. What do I mean by that? I mean like not feeling comfortable to stop something, to say no in situations when things have gone too far, allowing things to go too far. There's a sense of that here. And I think it's important to know what those are for yourself and to allow yourself to know that it's okay to have certain limits and limitations, that it's okay for you to say no to people. It's okay for you to disappoint people, I think is ultimately the biggest thing here, that it's not the end of the world. And sometimes what you think will disappoint somebody actually will not. And that is a self-imposed limitation that you are putting on yourself. And so in order to, like, being tired, having to go home after a party, that's an example that came to me. It doesn't have to be your situation, but let's use that. Yeah, will your friends maybe be a little sad that you're not there for the whole night? Maybe. But will they remember it in 2 weeks? Maybe not. And then if they're a jerk to you for like ever because of it, then are they really good friends? You know, these are all valid questions to ask. It's okay to be able to ask those things, right? Because, you know, ultimately, like, the only one who can help you in your life and in your situations, whatever it is you're going through, is you. No one else will be there to regulate you in the way that you have to be able to do. Nobody else knows what your limits are but you. And being strong in those doesn't mean being mean at all. It just means, you know, you can very kindly and easily show your boundaries and move on. And if somebody is really, really upset about that, that is on them, and that is a red flag for you to see and use to move on from, right? And I know that sounds harsh. I've been there, and it doesn't feel good to do that to people, but sometimes you have to, for your own personal safety, your own personal well-being, because there will never be somebody else 100% looking after your well-being except you. And there will 100% be situations that you are thrown into if you do not look out for your well-being, where someone will take advantage of you. Because unfortunately, they're just those people out there. They're not they're not the majority. I firmly believe they are not the majority doing that. And it does not have to color your views on humanity at all to just know that maybe 1 out of 25 people is kind of going to be terrible to everyone that they interact with. I would say maybe that's the number. I don't know what the real number is. It's just off the top of my head, but they're out there, right? They're out there. And that's not to live in fear. I think that's really important, because when you have strong boundaries and you know how to walk away and you're not afraid to walk out of any situation that is not good for you, then most of your life will be beautiful, right? Because you'll see the red flags. It's like, I don't want to deal with that. Nope. And you walk out the door, and then you go off and you have a great day, and you don't even think about it anymore. And like I said, I know that sounds harsh, and some people, when you're not ready to do that, it can sound like being incredibly like a jerk, right? But like I said, you have the choice on how you want to interact with the world. And if you want to live in a way in which you can be in your own authentic power in a kind way, right, where you don't hurt people most of the time, then having those strong boundaries up front is huge, because then you won't end up in situations where you devastate somebody because you just won't put yourself in the situation, right? You'll know way ahead of time, way before it develops into that. When you learn how to, and this is kind of, I think, what this is about. This is, now we'll get into the energy clearing here. It's like learning how to make that distinction inside immediately, trusting your gut immediately, right? Seeing the red flags are there. They're there, and you always know when they're there. It's just that it's that dialogue, right? Where you see something that you're not comfortable with, and then you probably have trained yourself, because this is what we all do, I think, especially at the beginning. I've definitely done this for a lot of my life. I don't do it anymore as much, thankfully, but I used to do it all the time. You immediately dismiss it. You say, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, they were just blah, blah, blah. Oh, they were just blah, blah, blah. And if you want, give it a 3 strikes. You want to be totally cool about things. You don't want to be a total jerk. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. 3 strikes. Okay, 1 strike. Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. Okay, 1 strike, whatever. Everybody can do whatever. 3 weeks later, oh, they did something else. I don't know about that. That's, oh, well, but, whatever. Okay. 3rd strike. Oh my gosh. Yep, nope, this is a pattern. I see it. I don't know about this person. I am going to distance myself. And it doesn't have to be cruel. You don't even have to cut them out completely. You don't have to do anything like that. You just have to say, okay, this person, I'm not going to go to their house party. Something like that. Like, maybe we won't go to coffee. That's okay. We'll just, we'll stay like here. They see you, say hi, hello, how you doing? Great, okay. And just leave it at that, right? It's important to do that kind of thing sometimes, And like I said, it can kind of feel like being a jerk sometimes, definitely. But it's important, because not everybody has your best interest at heart. And if you give everything to everyone, there will be no shortage of people to take everything. Because that's just, some people just do that. Some people just do that. And yeah, anyway, did we get through everything? I think so. I didn't talk about all of these cards, but I definitely channeled stuff there. Let me know if this reading resonated for you. Kind of different messages between the channeled and this channeled. So hopefully that disconnect isn't too much. Like I said, I think this was a very particular message for a very particular person. If you found this and it really helped you, great. Let me know either way. If it didn't feel right, that's okay too. That's how this works sometimes. Hopefully I'm trusting that this was what needed to be said to somebody. So anyway, pile number 2, that's it for you. I hope that it resonated. Let me know what you think in the comments either way. I love hearing from everybody. At the moment, I am not doing private readings, and I don't know when I'll start them again. So just so you know, I'm not doing them. But if you want to reach me at any point, you can find me on my website at www.junodrome.com. There's a contact info there. And huge shout out to Preston, my new editor. Thank you so much for working on these videos. It's helping me out a lot. And yeah, anyway, I will see you in the next one. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading with messages for clearing energetic blockages. So these are going to be messages that can help you open up your own energy field, right? What is it that's going on internally that is blocking you in this moment? What can you do to improve that? So for these readings, I have some channeled messages where I try to connect with specifically an archangel. So like I've been telling all of these readings, if working with specifically with archangels isn't something that you really want to do, or makes you feel uncomfortable or something like that, you don't necessarily have to conceive of this reading in this way, but that is who I personally asked to help get these messages. So that's just where this is coming from. For your reading, I drew this card here, the Archangel Raphael. And I have a couple of notes here from when I was doing my own meditations on the archangels at one point, and he's sort of associated with healing, traveling, removing fear and stress, that kind of thing. Colors green, emerald green, stone, emerald, malachite. So just if you wanted any of that kind of thing. These are my own personal notes. I also feel like he's more of like a masculine energy. That's kind of what I connected to. So take that for whatever. So we're going to start out with the channeled message I wrote earlier, and then we will dive into the tarot. So this is the message I got. There is nothing more important than your personal health. If you are not alive, you cannot do any of the things you actually wish to do. If you are looking for knowledge, personal wisdom, life achievement, personal financial gain, happiness, joy, or really anything in this lifetime requiring a change of state from one life condition to another, none of them can be achieved without your mind, body, and spirit. So remember to take some time out, a little tiny small amount of time in your day, to focus on how you are doing, mind, body, and soul. Do you need nourishment, sleep, exercise, mental health break, more peace? These are all conditions you have agency to watch over. So be sure to use that agency while you still have it, because you won't have it forever, right? I guess, we're not all going to be alive forever, is what that's saying. So just an itty bitty, incy mincy amount of time. And a little smiley face. Yeah, so, yeah, I think that's actually a really sweet message. So the biggest message, I think, for this reading, and what might actually be blocking you right now is paying attention to your own personal health, right? Mental health, physical health, and spiritual health, and that doesn't have to be, you don't have to be spiritual to focus on that kind of health, but it's like your soul, your personal fulfillment, right? That kind of thing. So looking at all of it together, let's look at the cards and see. I think this is probably going to be a reading about looking at your health, which makes sense for Raphael, actually. It makes a lot of sense. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, you got the moon card, and it says, trust in dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. So I actually, for you guys in particular, pile number 3, there may be some really important messages coming to you in your dreams. So be open to that. Maybe set an intention the next time you go to sleep. Just say, I'm open to messages coming to me in my dreams. Please help me remember these when I wake up. If you just set that intention, when you wake up in the morning, you may actually remember. There may be some important messages coming to you, so pay attention. Let's look at the cards. We have the 4 of Cups. Interesting. Okay. The Sun. Great. The 5 of Swords. Okay. The Fool. And the Hanged Man. Let's do all of them. Let's do all of them. Next up, you have the 6 of Wands, Victory. The 10 of Swords. Yep. The 8 of Cups. Okay. The Hanged Man again. There you go. Coming up twice. This most important message. We'll put that there. And the King of Swords. Okay, interesting. So, big message. Don't overwork yourself. Big one here. basically, you may be trying to do something. We all do things in life, and it takes action to move in life, right? And so, as we move, as we take action, as we change, as we work, there's an importance in balancing what you do to do all of that kind of work, right? So if you're going to put yourself out there and try to achieve change in life, there's an importance in pacing yourself. I'm feeling that for this, right? Because if you are only single focused, not that having a single focus is a bad thing necessarily, but if you literally are only thinking about one thing, I must do X, you let all the other stuff slip by, in particular the health thing. And I think that's a big part of this. And so it's sort of like you're never going to get to where you want to go if you don't have your health. And I think that's a big message here, is sort of like the biggest thing blocking you from getting, not even just getting from where you want to go, but just blocking you in general, that energetic blockages like this reading is about, is a tendency to neglect the little important things, and focusing too much instead on whatever is on your mind, right? That single mental focus instead of, everything. And letting, cutting corners is a big thing, is what I'm feeling. Because of this Ten of Wands here, that's being overburdened, right? That's taking on too much. And I think that maybe, when you were just starting out, you had a big burst of exciting energy, and you were really ready to go and do something, and it was really exciting, and so you kept on picking things up, for whatever this is. This could be about a job, right? Like starting a job, doing everything you can to be the best, to make a great reputation, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you're doing everything, that kind of thing is what's going on here. All of a sudden, I think maybe you found yourself feeling stuck in a situation, because you've put everything into it. And that's not a bad thing necessarily, right? Being all in is great, but are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating right? Or are you rushing around? Are you eating fast food all the time because it's just faster and easier? Are you watching your own body? Are you listening to whether you're feeling too much, right? Are you feeling really stressed out and you don't have an outlet for peace in your life? Are you feeling like you're overworking yourself? But you don't have the ability to slow down for whatever reason. There's a real importance in, really resting here. And I think, with the Four of Cups, we have kind of a window into where this is coming from. It's sort of this idea that, like, you're super hyper focused on specific things that maybe seem external, right? I have to do this, I need to get that right. I have to do this, and that needs to be right. And I have to do that, and that needs to be right in order for me to get to where I want to go, or to do what I need to be doing. But in reality, there's a fourth cup, there's a fourth option, there's an easier way that's there, that's being given to you, that may be more obvious than it seems on the surface. And if you take the time to try to look for that and see it, instead of having to do all three of these things, maybe there's one way to just do one thing, and then that cuts out a bunch of things, right? There's a sense of needing to work smarter and not harder. Look at how these two cards reflect each other. Both people are in the same. This is actually really incredible, because I've never seen these two together like this, but it just, like, they go so well together. I don't know how I've never seen that. That's amazing. Okay, so look at this. This is great. Here's him trying to do everything, He's got all of them on his back. He can't walk anymore. It's too much. Here he is. He put them all down. He's walking on. He's moving on with his life. He's moving away. He's not doing it anymore. Not doing it. Also, I've got like the throat stuff, so excuse me. There could be a sense of holding back your tongue potentially. You know, not speaking the truth because you're afraid of what it'll do in your situation. Not telling people that you're not capable of doing something, you know, saying yes to everything, even when it's too much. There's a lot of that. So there's a big change in here. I think the biggest energetic block for you is just legitimately trying to do too much at once. So I think there needs to be a need. You definitely need to put some things down here and walk away and move on. And I think once you decide to do that, it'll be freeing for you. You're in a new beginning energy with the Fool. It's like there's a whole new way of doing things, a new way of being, transforming the way that you are. And, you know, with the Five of Swords, sometimes that can talk about, you know, when you're fighting with other people and like winning the battle and walking away victorious sometimes. And so it's almost like there's this sense of like, maybe you're afraid, you know, maybe there needs to be a conversation, you know, especially like if you're in some kind of group project or something where you're taking on all the work, like there needs to be some kind of, not necessarily a fight. It's just like there's some kind of communication that needs to happen. It might feel like a confrontation in your mind, but it might not actually end up being that confrontational where you say, you know what, this isn't something I'm capable of continuing and I need to put something down here. And I think once you decide to do that, I think it's going to be a lot easier than maybe you think because you have the victory card here. So you're going to be victorious in that. You know, use your own health as an excuse, ultimately. You know, if you're doing too much and you need to put something down, you feel stuck and you want to move on to something new, you need to cut something out of your life, you know. If you need to use your own personal health as an excuse, like, it's one of the most universal excuses that most people should understand, you know. Like, you know what? Unfortunately, I am no longer capable of doing this and being a healthy person the way I need to. So I need to move into something else that's a little bit less of a workload because I need to be focusing on my own health. And my health has been sacrificed in a way I'm no longer comfortable with. And so I need to be doing something different. You know, that kind of thing, that perspective, I think people get. You know, I think they do. And, you know, if they don't, whatever, you know, screw them. Focus on your health anyway. You know what I mean? But, like, there is an importance in focusing on your own personal well-being because you're the only one who can do that at the end of the day. You know, other people may do it kind of, but they aren't going to know every aspect of your life. And you're the only one who does. So take that, use that to improve yourself, right? I think once you do, I think that clears it out. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like there's something going on. So maybe it's a throat chakra blockage, right? Because my throat was doing what it was doing. So maybe it's like truth needs to be spoken in your situation, whatever your situation is. There needs to be an acknowledgement of the conditions as they are. And maybe this is talking to yourself, you know, maybe that was a conversation not with other people, but one that you need to have with yourself, you know, have an honest, open conversation with yourself and say, you know what, I can't actually do the 30 things I want to do in this moment. Maybe I need to focus on one of them, do that, and then once that's done, I can pick up the next one. You know, it could be as simple as that, like changing your time scale and your expectations from yourself, becoming a little bit more realistic with your own time, and being okay with it. You know, not being such a jerk to yourself about it, right? Like really taking your time to be like, you know what? Nope, I am actually not able to get this done the way I thought maybe I could have or was hoping I wanted to, and that's okay. I will take my time to find the more optimal pace for these projects. whatever this is for you, you know? But there is a sense of that. And I think once you acknowledge that within yourself and maybe say it to the people that you need to, you have a new start here. There's a new way of doing things. There's a new way of pursuing whatever this is, that will be more beneficial to your life. It'll be more balanced, you know, more pace yourself, right? Pace yourself. I think that's what I said when I started, and that's exactly it. It's taking time, you know, letting things take time. Not everything has to be instantaneous. It's easy when you have the internal understanding of things to want to make things happen immediately, but things don't happen immediately, right? They take time. And so even though you see within your mind how things could be and how you want them to be, actually physically making it happen is a much different ball game. I mean, it really is. And so it's like, take the time it needs to get it to happen and change your expectations. And watch out for yourself, right? Watch out for your health first. Don't cut corners. Don't, you know, take the time to watch out for yourself, right? And that doesn't mean don't ever, you know, eat bad food and do stuff that's not good for you, right? Sometimes, you know, you gotta have fun too, but like, it's the aggregate that's the most important thing. What are you doing on the aggregate? Are you thinking of your health? You know, are you keeping that in mind, even though, you know, sometimes you splurge, sometimes you gotta splurge, but like, are you continuing to think about your health, right? It's important. It's important work. And it doesn't mean to be hard on yourself about it. It means, like this letter said, incy, bincy, teensy, weensy, just a little bit at a time, you know? Take a little bit of time every day to check in with yourself. Like, okay, well, how am I feeling? Do I feel okay? Do I feel gross? Why do I feel gross? Am I anxious? Am I calm? Why am I anxious? Am I feeling fulfilled? Am I feeling awful? Why am I feeling awful? You know, just taking a little bit of time asking yourself these questions, and it's perfectly clear, perfectly okay if when you start doing this, if the answer is, I don't know, you know, where is this anxiety coming from? I don't know. Okay, well, I'm seeing it, right? I'm aware. I'm noticing. I'm taking the time to see it. Sometimes that's enough, you know, a little bit every day. Oh, I feel really bloated and like, oh, okay, well, what did I eat today? Like, oh, okay, didn't really eat many vegetables. Okay, yeah, I ate kind of gross. Okay, well, all right, I see that. Maybe I'll make healthier choices. Well, I'm watching it, you know? Okay, well, like, at least I can connect that I feel kind of gross today because I wasn't really thinking and I just ate what I wanted. Okay, well, at least I see it. Maybe tomorrow I'll make a little bit healthier choices, and then maybe tomorrow you will, you know? And when you're about to go for something, like, well, I remember I feel gross, so maybe I'll try to do something where I feel a little less gross. That's all it takes. It's a little bit all the time. So anyway, pile number 3, I'm going to cut it here. I think that's about all it needed. So let me know in the comments what you think. I think your energetic blockage is just you're trying to do too much. You're cutting some corners, and you're not really focusing on your own health. And so take the time out to do that because it's important. You'll thank yourself in the future, you know? It's remember, we are, our future is just the accumulated nows that we live, right? And so it's in this now moment that you have the agency to make little tiny tweaks instead of having to make huge giant ones later when you know, aren't doing so great, right? So anyway, pile number 3, that's it for me. I hope that it resonated. Let me know what you think in the comments. Either way, I love hearing from everybody. Shout out to my new editor, Preston. Thank you so much for editing these videos. It's helping me being able to do more, definitely. It takes a huge psychological load off of me every time I'm going into filming one of these. So it's nice. It's nice. Thank you. And I'm not currently doing private readings. I don't know when I'll be starting those again. So just so you know, I'm not doing them. But if you want to reach me for whatever reason, you can still find my info on my website at www.junodrome.com. And that's it from me for now. I hope you have a great day. Catch you later. Bye. Hi there, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be a reading giving you some kind of energetic clearing, right? So just due to day-to-day life, everything that we go through, all of your normal everyday things, something will happen inevitably just by being alive where you will feel like there's some kind of block going on, right? And so this is helping to clear that. Even if you don't necessarily feel blocked, I think just like I said, based on everyday life, there's always going to be something that's going on. And originally, this was going to be the start of a series on different energy point releases, and I was going to focus specifically on the third eye chakra. But these readings, I decided to pull some archangel cards as well to ask specifically to certain archangels to come in and give some messages in this, and so it made the reading completely different, which is fine. So there will be a channeled message from an archangel here that I'll read in a moment. You don't necessarily have to subscribe to working with angels specifically for this to apply to you, and you can always just think of this as a message from directly from the universe or from your own subconscious, or just a message that comes to you in this moment, right? Whatever, it's however you want to subscribe to this. But I did specifically ask for messages from archangels, and I pulled a card for you, and we got the Archangel Jophiel. And I would say about a year ago, I did a kind of like a meditation on a bunch of different, some of the most prominent archangels, and collected information about them that I got through meditation and stuff. And so this archangel card that I pulled for you is Jophiel, like I said, and I got the overwhelming sense that it was a feminine energy, so I refer to her as her. But like I said too, like I feel like these archangel energies are just sort of names and representations that we're putting on larger sort of weird interdimensional energy more than anything else. So take whatever you want from this. But some of the words associated with her sometimes from some people are like beauty, peace, organization, feng shui, reducing clutter. There's a lot of that. So here's that. It's just my own personal notes. So we'll put that over here. And you chose the card with the bees here, and it says, gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Proverbs 16:24, whatever. I guess that's from the Bible. Anyway, I associate bees with like worker energy, right? Like worker bees. So putting in the time into something. So there's a potential that you've been working really hard at something. So let's read the channeled message first, and then I'll get into the tarot. So first up, this is just the message that I channeled. Automatic writing is what I did. There's nothing left to say that hasn't already been said. Less talk, more action. If you've landed here, there really isn't anything to say to you that you didn't already know. So what are you waiting for? Get out there. Do the thing. Thinking about it isn't going to help you anymore. Once you take real steps, then we can talk. For now, less thinky, more doey. Yeah, okay. So yeah, very clear message. I remember this now. So for you, the message is very much one of get out there, do something. I think you already have in mind something that you're working on, some ideas. I think maybe you have a ton of ideas. And maybe you even have the first steps in your mind on how to execute these ideas. But for whatever reason, there's been a pause in actually getting out there and doing the thing. So this reading is going to be all about that. But if you want to just take that message, like that's a pretty clear message of just get out there. You know what to do. Go and do it. Let's take a look at the cards. We have the Son of Wands, the Son of Swords. Okay, these are both knights in most decks. The Six of Wands, great. This is an awesome reading. Okay, we've got the Oh, yeah, we do. 9 of Swords. That makes a lot of sense. And we've got the 5 of Cups. Okay, okay, wow. Very clear messages here. Okay, so for you, pile number 4, there's a sense of um, overthinking, clearly overthinking. With the 9 of Swords here, I think that, that can be the worry card. Um, and wait, I'm thinking, yeah. And it's like the anxiety card, and it's very much a card of overthinking things. And I think that may be what is happening for you. And not only like from an anxious perspective, because I do think there's a little bit of that of like, I don't even know where to start. I have all of these things. I'm so overwhelmed. I want to do this, that, and the other thing. And here's all of that. But I think it's also a thing about being totally in the mind, right? So there's a blockage, I think, for you where it's an overextension of the upper energy without like bringing it down into the actual physical form. And I think because of that, maybe you get really stuck in your mind, and maybe you do have a lot of anxiety, and maybe it is over and over and over and over and over. And the way out of this is physical instead of mental. And I think that's where the Son of Swords is coming in, because for me, I find the swords to be, they're representative of the air sign, so they're all about thinking a lot of the times and the mental processes. And the knights I always relate to movement. Where is the action happening in the reading? Where is the movement? And so there's a real change here in thinking, the way that you think. And the reason that you are able to do that change comes from the Son of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands in most decks. And this is talking about an application of new movement in inspiration, right? Movement in the things that light you up. And I think that the way that you alleviate some of the anxiety is by actually getting out and doing the things that inspire you, instead of planning to do all of the things, actually getting out and taking real active steps. And by taking active steps on whatever this is, and it could be anything, just whatever, with the being wands there, whatever is like at the deep inner self of you that you just know you have to get out there and do. If you actually take practical steps towards that thing, that will alleviate all of this inner turmoil going on. And because you'll actually be proving to yourself that you're doing something. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to get to the finish line tomorrow. I think that's a big thing. A lot of times when we have huge ideas, we have these expectations that we put on ourselves about where the end result will lie. And if we're not at the end immediately, we can be really challenging on ourselves. We can be really tough on ourselves. And this is kind of talking about the need to release yourself from that a little bit and open yourself up to more of an idea of allowing you to be at the beginning stages of this thing. And it's never easy to be at the beginning of something, because we want to be accomplished. We want to have that sense of accomplishment. And being at the beginning of a project or an idea or whatever, it can be really frustrating. And we can use that to put ourselves down. But there's a sense here of actually the opposite happening for you, that maybe it's that understanding of not wanting to start something, and that is keeping you from beginning. But I think once you actually start taking steps at this thing, it will bring you an incredible amount of relief. There will be a sense of being comfortable in the doing, and then you're proving to yourself that you're actually you actually are wanting to do this thing. You're actually taking real solid steps. That will help you feel a lot more complete about all of this. Now, with the 5 of Cups here, I'm getting the sense from this that it's all about, this is the loss and the grief card. So I think in that sense of feeling at the beginning of something, or feeling like you're just starting out, or as you take this step this starting over feeling even. You know, if you've been working on something else for a while and actually there's something different and new that's better for you, that you know at the back of your mind, like this is going to be something you know, right? Like that, like the channeled message was saying, you already know this thing. This isn't about not knowing already. So there's something about this though with the Five of Cups where it's like, by actually taking steps at this thing, maybe you're giving up options. Oh yeah, that's it. Maybe there's like 10 things that you want to do, and by actually taking steps at something, maybe that's a part of what's been blocking you from taking actual steps at something, is the innate understanding that you have that by taking action on something, you have to let go of some other things, even if it's just for now, you know. You might come back to them later. Just that's always important to remember. Just because you're choosing to do something in this moment doesn't mean that you can't go back and do something else once this thing is done. It's really important to remember. But the actual act of picking up the one thing, I think you know in the back of your mind, it means you're going to have to put down the 6 other ideas that you have and just focus on 1 or 2. And there's a sense of loss in that. There's a sense of grief in that because you just want to have all of it. You know, you just want to be in it, all of it, on the time, all the time, right now. And when you keep it up in the mind, you are in all of it, right? You are in all of it all the time. But the thing about that, though, is that it's not real yet. Like when it's just in the mind, it doesn't actually exist in the world. And so I think that you'd be far more disappointed in yourself at the end of the day, only keeping all 5 of these cups in your mind and not actually actualizing 1 or 2 of them, right? At the end of the day, because ultimately life is finite. You know, I know we don't really like to think about it or talk about that, but at the end of the day, there isn't, and this isn't to say you don't have enough time to do what you want, right? I think you do have enough time, but this is the point. Like, sometimes we think we have more than enough time when in reality a lifetime is a finite amount. One's life is finite. So what do you want to do with your life? You know, and that's a loaded question. So don't think about it like choosing one of these cups here means that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. It's more like, what do you want to do? This is it. Think about it more like this is it, right? Right here, right now, where you are in this moment, this is it. This is it. You won't be in the future. You can't go to the past. All you have is the present. So this right here, right now is it. How do you want to use your it? You know, how do you want to use it? You've got time. This is time. This is the time. You've got the time, but you have to use it, because if you don't, if you just sit and you keep it all up here, it'll just be an idea that you take with you and leave, and no one will ever see the potential in it, because even if you try to explain an idea to someone else, they won't be able to see it the way you do, and it won't be the same thing as actually showing them the thing that you make from the idea. Yeah, so let's see, we got more cards. We got the Moon. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The 3 of Swords. Okay, yeah, I feel that. Queen of Swords. 5 of Pentacles. Similar vibes to these 2 5s. And the Knight of Wands. Okay, Knight of Wands twice, so that's important. That's the most important message in this whole reading. So whenever a card comes up twice for me, I take that as sort of the highlight. Like, that is the message. So the message for you, which we already know because we got it in the channeled message, is take action. Take action on your inspirations. I don't have to say anything else. Like, that is this reading. Take action on your inspirations. You know what to do. You might tell yourself you don't, but I bet if you thought about, not like you don't have to plan it all out. That's the thing. I think we get lost in that sometimes, where we think, okay, I know I want to get to this place someday, right? Someday I want to have this accomplishment or all of these things done. So now I'm going to sit, I'm going to plan every single tiny, minute step that it will take to get me to that place. No, no, nope, 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 nope. Because you don't know. You can't plan ahead like that. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the spontaneous things. You don't know the random conversation you're going to be in with person Z who you met at party X, 4 years from now, who happens to know about topic L that, gives you the insight to take action F, to make result M happen, right? I'm just giving random things, but that's the thing. It's like you don't know what the future holds. So don't think about it like you're coming up with the GPS coordinates to your location. Think about it like you're sailing to your location, right? If you're going to sail towards somewhere, the winds will always change. So you don't know what the conditions are going to be in each spot along the ocean to get to the other side of the planet, right? You have to read what's happening in the moment and adjust your sail towards your destination. And then once the winds change, you readjust your sail towards the other section, and then you'll keep going in the direction, right? So your destination is it's not, there's no finite path towards your destination. It's just the goal. And so it's more important to focus on this moment in order to adjust your own sails to get to where you're going, right? So try to think of it in that way. That'll help you. So don't think about every single step that it's going to take to get to your ultimate goal. Think about where you are right now and what action right now will adjust your sail towards the trajectory of your destination. Does that make sense? So you have an idea, you have an understanding on where you want to go. Don't try to plan out how to get there now. Plan out how to take one step today that will get you there. Maybe that means, oh, today's actually a journaling day. All right, I'm going to take all of these ideas that are in my head and I'm going to put them on a piece of paper. Great, that's awesome. That will help inspire you tomorrow. You'll take the action where maybe you'll look at everything and you'll roll the dice. Literally, you could take some dice, roll it, put numbers on each thing, and land on a thing and say, okay, is this something I want to work on? Is this the thing? And you'll know. Ask your heart. Is this the thing? No, it's not the thing. Okay, cross it out. Not doing that yet. Until you get to the thing where it's like, yes, okay, this is what I want to work on. This is what I'm going to put all my energy into. And then, you keep working like that. And then eventually you'll come up with an understanding and an idea on how to get to where you're going. There's this, the Five of Pentacles can talk about rock bottom, but it's like the rock bottom that it's Dark Night of the Soul card a lot of the times, which is like a period in your life where you've exhausted all of the options that you've been given, like based on assumptions, based on what you expected life to be, and that all doesn't work anymore. And so you kind of end up in this lost, dejected sort of a state. And it's only being in that state that you can start to see true wisdom, right? It talks about connecting with the church here. It's like finally connecting with the universe itself by hitting such a low point that there's no other choice but to actually listen to the voices of the universe, right? And sometimes we end up in that point. I think maybe you could be there now, or you could have already been there. But I think maybe, you've gotten to that low point, and now is the opportunity for you to start listening. So start listening, try to start listening to what it is you really need, instead of doing the things you think you need, right? And that's a hard leap to make. It's a really challenging leap to make, to leave your head and start focusing on the intuition, the gut, the heart, the drive, right? Because your mind will always have an explanation for everything if you give it the chance to think of one. And that can get in the way sometimes of actually taking action, on something, because there will always be a reason to not take the action, right? If you just live in the mind can come up with 10 million explanations for everything when maybe there is no explanation, right? Maybe you're just tired today and your mind is going to give you 7,000 reasons why you're incapable of ever doing anything. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, maybe you're just tired. So there's a little bit of a sense of reconnecting to the rest of the body here, I think. And I think that's where the energy blockage comes in. I think that there's a block below the neck for you. So I think for you, it's quite possible that it's a blockage, in the throat chakra, definitely in the heart chakra. I think that, and you don't have to subscribe to the chakra systems here. You do you. But I feel like everything is up here for you. And coming back into the body is a really important practice that will help you. So one way that you can do that is let's practice this little meditation together. So lots of sirens out there. So this is an important message for you. So pay attention. We're going to do a little mini meditation. So I want you to imagine that there is a little person in the center of your head, right? Imagine there's a little tiny person here in the center of your head, and they're standing at a closed elevator. So I want you to imagine the person is you, and I want you to push the button for the down button on the elevator. Okay, we're going to wait a second. Okay, the elevator doors are opening. Imagine the little person sees the elevator doors opening, and the little person walks into the elevator. Okay, great. Now, on the elevator, there's a bunch of buttons. Right now, the floor that they're on is mind. So they're up in the mind. I want you to push on the elevator to the heart button. Okay? Okay, so now imagine there's that elevator is up in the center of your mind, and now it's moving. So make the elevator move. We're going down. Imagine it going down, down. The elevator is going down. The elevator is in your throat now. It's your awareness. So imagine your awareness is now in your throat in this elevator. It's going down. It's going down. Going down. Ding. Okay. So the little person has gone to the destination of the heart. Imagine they get out of the elevator and now they're hanging out there. So now your awareness is in your heart. So imagine that. We're going to take some deep breaths. Now, as you breathe, continue to keep your awareness down in your heart. And now imagine that you are breathing in and out through your heart. So we're going to take some deep breaths and breathe in through your heart. Imagine it's happening through the heart, and breathe out through the heart. Okay, so breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, so now you may have come to a sense of calm. Anytime that you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like you're totally stuck in your head, and the trick here is this is going to take a little bit of some mindfulness practice, which means being aware of your mind. So you have to be aware of the fact that you're stuck in your mind to take an action, but start to try to practice that. Anytime you feel like you're way up here, or it's just you're overwhelmed, or you're thinking 10 million things, start to practice getting into that elevator, going down to the heart, and living down in the chest for a little bit. that will help you rebalance and recalibrate, you know. There's some other things too. You could try actual meditations here and guided meditations on coming back into your body, or body scan meditation. If you Google on YouTube guided body scan meditation, any of those are going to help you. That'll help bring you back into an awareness and a sense of your body, and will get you out of being stuck up here, because that, I think, is where the biggest blockage for you is coming from, this disconnect. And you know, with the heart, swords in the heart here, you know, there might be a good reason why you're stuck up here. You know, you may have been through a lot of stuff that has forced you into living up here. And so if you start to come back into your body, if you start to work on the body stuff more, and things start coming up, you know, from the past, you start feeling all of these challenging feelings, don't let them, don't try to escape those. Embrace them, hug them, feel them. Easier said than done, mind you, especially if you've got a lot of blockages going on and you haven't been feeling your feelings. If you've been trying to distance yourself from your feelings, when they start flooding back, it's a real challenge. But if you are present with yourself, if you allow yourself the time and the space to really feel all that you need to feel, you can start to alleviate some of the challenges that are present there. Yeah. So anyway, pile number 4, I'm going to leave you there. I hope that this reading resonated with you. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think either way. We'll do one final energy clearing, actually. So I haven't done Reiki in all of the readings I was intending to, but we'll do it for you. So I want you to repeat after me real quick. So say, I am open to receiving the energy healing that is coming to me in my own highest good, for my own highest good. So one more time, I am open to receiving the energy clearing and healing that is coming to me, that is in my own highest good, and only that which is in my own highest good. Okay, so now I'm going to do some Reiki here. Okay, so first, it's been a minute since I've done Reiki, so I'm collecting the energy. I'm forming the energy. And then I'm activating the energy. And now I take that, and this is going to your heart chakra. Okay. All right, there you go. So receive it if you want it, don't if you don't. All right, so yeah, pile number 2, that's it from me. Pile number 4, that's it from me. I hope that it resonates. Let me know in the comments what you think either way. I love hearing from everybody. Shout out to my editor, Preston. Thank you for working on things. It's helping me be able to do more regular videos, which is 100% my intention. I'm currently suspending my private readings still, so I'm not doing private readings, but if you need to reach me for any reason, you can message me on my website. That's www.junodrome.com. That's it from me, and I hope you have a great day. Catch you later. Hi there, pile number 5. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading on energetic clearing. So what can we do today to clear some of the energy blockages that may be within you, and work through some things that are holding you up? And so for these readings, there's a couple things. I might try to do some energy healing and Reiki and some kind of energy clearing through this reading. We'll see what you need. And then also I specifically pulled some of these Archangel cards that I made at one point about a year ago to connect with the Archangels, and I asked them to channel some messages. So I channeled messages from Archangel energies. You don't necessarily need to fully subscribe to archangels and believing in them to to be a part of this. I just kind of personally think that whatever these are, I think they're less people with wings and more interdimensional energy representing peace, and like different aspects of the greater everything. So that's how I view them when I work with them. So you do you in this, yeah. So just be open to the messages. You don't necessarily have to be open to the sources, but this one, if you are open to the sources, for you, I pulled the card for the Archangel Michael, who's about protection, cord cutting, life purpose, guidance, all sorts of things, mostly protection. Colors, purple, blue, gold, stone, sugalite? I don't know that one. Anyway, those are just some notes that I took on this Archangel at one point. We'll put that over there. And first up is the channeled message. So let me read that for you first. You got a long one. Oh, yeah, okay. And your channel message is a two-part. So the first is like a repeat after me section, and then there's a section of messages. So, yeah, so I'll get into it. So repeat after me. I will pause as you speak. I am open to love. I am open to happiness. I am open to peace. I do not need to do anything to receive love. I do not need to achieve anything to be worthy of love. I do not need to do anything to gain happiness. Happiness is my natural state. Happiness is my natural state. All I need for happiness to come is to see that it is already here. All I need for happiness to come is to see that it is already here. Okay, and now the message. The block you may be feeling is not something that needs to be a permanent state. Just because you think you are lost doesn't mean that aimless wandering is not a worthy pursuit. Take the time to look around at where you are without expectation or judgment. Maybe you could learn to see this place as somewhere you like, instead of wishing you were somewhere else. And here, in this place, lies the happiness that you seek. So yeah, for you, I think the biggest message, and we have the daisy too, I didn't mention that yet, but the daisy, which is a flower representing the sun, and we have rise with the sun. So I think for you, there's a huge aspect of perspective that's really important in coming to learn how to be okay with where you are. And that's hard sometimes when we're not places we want to be, right? Because sometimes we aren't in life. But this is also kind of reminding me a little bit of like gratitude practice. It's important to remember happiness is a state that can be achieved by anyone in any place. And that's not to say that you have to be okay with everything that's wrong in your life. Not at all. Nope. And it doesn't mean you have to accept being in a terrible place if you don't want to be there. No, not what I'm saying. But something that you can't change is being here now, right? Being here in this moment is something you will never be able to get rid of. You can imagine being someplace else. You can wish you were somewhere else. But the thing is, if you don't know how to be okay here, like actually here, not necessarily physically where you are, but being in the moment that you are in, that will never change. You can walk around somewhere else, but if you don't know how to be okay in this moment, then there is no location in this universe you can travel to that's going to make you feel comfortable being okay in this moment, if that makes sense. So the only way for you to learn how to gain happiness is by starting to practice being happy here. Because if you equate happiness with other, happiness is a state that is outside, that is something else, that needs to be found and brought to you, that needs to be created based on conditions. You just keep moving the goalpost as you walk towards those conditions, right? Because it has to be brought in, it has to be here. Now, if you learn how to practice being okay here in this moment, how to bring in happiness into your life here, even if it's a little bit of happiness. I'm not saying you have to be, celebrating the fact that you have everything you've ever wanted and everything you need by lying to yourself about those things. Like, no, that's not at all what this is about. It's about learning how to see, even in spite of the difficult things, even in spite of not having everything you could ever dream of, you can still be happy, right? Because happiness is not conditional, or it's not needed to have everything else with it, right? And so, like I said, it's not to say that it's not to say that everything is okay, right? Two different things. It's not to say that you need to pretend like everything is wonderful in this moment, and then that pretending is bringing you happiness because you're blind to the fact that you're not happy, right? No, but it's more of like, if you continue to associate happiness with an external condition that must be met, even if you meet that condition, you won't be happy, because you will just have another condition that needs to be met. There will never be an end to the conditions within which you must meet in order to have happiness. Because think about it, like, there's some people who don't have anything in this world except they have family, and they have love in their hearts, and they are probably far more happy than I'm sure Elon Musk is right now, just to say one person. But like the billionaires on this planet, they're like some of the most miserable people that exist on this planet. So material conditions, they don't have to mean happiness, right? And it's not to say too that like having money is a bad thing either. Plenty of people with money are happy, but it's because they're meeting the moment, and they're meeting the internal conditions for happiness, right? Because it's also not to say that like being able to pay your bills, that brings you a sense of comfort, right? And so like having enough money to be comfortable can make happiness easier. So I'm not equating necessarily that either, right? That's the problem with that slogan, that money doesn't buy you happiness, right? It's not that, for a lot of people, the conditions for happiness are far easier when you have means. So that's not what I'm arguing here, but it is important to remember, just having means is not enough for happiness. And just having external conditions met will not bring you happiness, because happiness is an internal state. It is a state of mind. It is a state of perception. And so it requires a change in perception in order to bring about the states of happiness. I haven't even gotten into the cards here. Oh, man. So let's start looking at the cards. We got the 6 of Cups. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. The Hierophant. Interesting. Okay. The Two of Cups. Oh, yeah. Definitely some emotions here. The Eight of Swords. Okay. And the Five of Wands. Yeah, so I do feel as though for you, we're talking about blockages. We're talking about energy blockages. I do think for you, there is a sense of feeling stuck, internal, external, right? There's like the constant battle. With the Five of Wands, it's like five people who are constantly fighting each other and nobody ever ends up on top. And so for this reading, I do think, you know, there is a state within yourself of feeling conflicted. You know, we talked a little bit about this. I think there is a sense of like nothing ever being enough for you, right? That it's not enough. There's always something else that needs to be, you know, and maybe that's bringing you a lot of sadness, a lot of discomfort, a lot of depression even, you know, it's real. Sometimes depression comes from, at least for me, I've found some of my most depressed moments, and I've had depression, they've come from a sense of distancing myself from my real feelings, burying them, and being disassociative from my own inner stuff. The more that you distance yourself, sometimes you can get really lost, and then that loss can manifest in depression. So I'm not trying to diagnose you with depression here. Like, I'm not a therapist, so take all of this with a grain of salt. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, I will always 100% recommend seeing a therapist. Very helpful. One of the greatest decisions I've ever done in my life. So I recommend that for people if you're feeling like you need that help, right? It's important. Your mental health is very important. So don't feel like it's a stigma to see somebody. Actually, it can be really helpful. And there are some affordable therapy options out there. So if you need any recommendations, shoot me a message on the website, JUNODROME.com. I'll send you some links. But that being said, I think for you, there's a little bit of a cocoon going on here with the cocoon, which can talk about this sort of transformation. You know, sometimes we need to be alone and kind of hermit and be away from the world and kind of be in our own things and stew in our own stuff in order to become more open to real happiness, right? Now, that message talks about how happiness is a state that's actually already here. And what that means in practice, you know, a lot of times it's like, this reminds me of, you know, and you don't have to like her stuff, but sometimes her stuff is really helpful. What's her name? Esther Hicks. Take her stuff what you will. I find some of her messages very, very helpful. And there was something that she talks sometimes about how, like, well, she's all about like the vortex and getting what you want and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that language is hers. Use it however you want. It can be a helpful metaphor, though, in sometimes she talks about how, you know, our feelings, our stuff, our negativity, our all of this crap that I've kind of been talking about. Think of it like an umbrella that you are putting up against the sun, right? So you hold this umbrella up and you're stewing in all this stuff. You think that the sun doesn't exist because the umbrella is blocking the sun. But the sun is always there anyway, right? It's just that your stuff is what's blocking the sun from reaching your head. If you just get rid of the umbrella, the sun is there. So the sun never goes away. It's always there. The light's always there. The happiness, the sun. Yeah, we're talking about the sun, right? It's always there. It's always there. So that happiness state is your natural state, like this was saying. And with the childhood card here, we have happy memories from childhood. It's like when you were a child, before you learned the baggage of the world, that was your natural state. You were in that always. You can't not be in that as a child because that's just what a human being is when it is in its natural state. And so there's a sense here of needing to reconnect to that a little bit, but also to remember that you always have access to the sun. It just means taking down the umbrella. And the umbrella is all of the inner stuff, right? It's the hard part. That's the hard part. The hard part is learning how to take the umbrella away. But it's important to remember you can do that right here, right now, you know? And maybe Esther Hicks's stuff might actually resonate with you. Her videos did help me a lot back when I really needed it. So look her up, Esther Hicks. She's all over the internet. Maybe you'll connect with it. But I do think she's really helpful sometimes. Her philosophy is helpful. Some of it, you know, some of it I like, some of it I don't. But what I really like about her, though, is the sense that, like I was saying, it's already always there, right? It's just a matter of, she says, like, adjusting your vibration or whatever. Like, this kind of language, personally, I think sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. You know, so take it however you want. But how I would interpret that in more grounded language would be sort of like the inner stuff is just getting in the way of it. You can, in the short term, like if you can't heal depression overnight. It's not going to happen. But there's a lot probably that's happened to you in life that has led to this, right? If you think about it like a ball of twine that is tangled all over the room, right? So in order to heal that, sometimes you got to take that ball of twine and unravel it one strand at a time. You're pulling back the past, you're pulling back the things, you're opening up a can of worms, and you're exploring all of the things that have led you to where you are and untangling that. That's the process of therapy, I think, you know. So therapy could actually be very helpful for you. I recommend that. But even if you don't want to see a therapist, you can do that kind of work on yourself. Esther Hicks, and I think maybe potentially even this archangel message here, are coming in to remind you that even you don't have to do all of that work to experience the happiness in this moment. You can get there now. It might not be a sustained state without doing some of the unraveling, but you can still get to that state in this moment by focusing on some of the things that are working for you. I would call that gratitude practice. So just even, and this has helped me, this is another thing that's helped me in my deepest depressions, really learn how to get out of it, is start to train yourself to look at the things that you do have going for you. And they are tiny, they could be tiny, but the more you think about the things that you are thankful to have, you know, the more that you can really turn things around. And so that's as simple as, you know, first steps. I am grateful that I have air to breathe. You know, do it with me real quick. Let's breathe. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Just that is something to be thankful for. You know, that's not nothing. Be thankful you have water to drink. Be thankful you have a home to sleep in. Maybe you don't, but maybe you have somewhere to sleep tonight. Be thankful for that, right? Be thankful that you have internet access. If you're watching this, you have internet access somehow. That's amazing. That's incredible. You have access to so much information. You have access to so many tools at your disposal to work on yourself or to learn or to grow or to entertain yourself. Anything. The fact that we have connection to this is absolutely mind-bogglingly incredible. So these are some things you can start to be thankful for. And gratitude, there's some really great gratitude practices on the internet. If you just look up gratitude meditation and gratitude affirmations on YouTube, you can find a ton of resources. But like I've personally used those a lot, and they helped me change my perspective because it's a perspective shift that needs to happen. Once you start practicing that perspective shift, you'll be able to reconnect to yourself here and really tune in and experience that happiness in the present moment. We got more cards. All right, Four of Pentacles, Page of Wands, King of Pentacles. All right. The Four of Swords, okay. And, oh, it's back. Six of Cups. It's twice. That's the most important thing. So I think the most important thing for you is remembering that in your childhood, you did this naturally. So there has been a point in your lifetime that you have lived here in this life where you've already experienced this. So, remembering what that was like and tuning back into that will help you. Meeting life with a childlike curiosity. Curiosity is one of the greatest tools for alleviating nihilism, and maybe you're stuck in the nihilism thing because, man, this is a nihilistic age we're living in. Whew, it can be dark, right? And the philosophy can be dark, and it can get really easy to think, what is the point? But honestly, the point is whatever you make it. Explore. This is actually a huge planet, a big universe out there, and like some people are like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves to see this like thing. Sometimes people will say like, oh, it's a shame that I was born too late to be able to explore the world for the first time. Like, there's so much wrong with that. First part, like, that's a colonial attitude if you think about it, because it's like people were all over the world, in the 1700s when people were exploring the planet, right? Like, so that's one thing. The second thing, though, is like, have you personally explored this planet fully? Like you yourself, have you gone out and seen every country and been to every place? Because I don't think you have, right? So like, actually, this is the perfect time to explore the world, because actually it's easier to do that now than it has literally ever been in human history. So actually, you have the ability to go out and explore everything. Now, you might be saying, well, JP, I don't have the money for that. I can't get out there. Well, all right. But apparently it's going to come to you at some point here with the King of Pentacles. And that means switching your attitude, Right now, you've got the Four of Pentacles attitude, which is all about keep it close. I cannot lose what I have. I barely have anything, and I'm going to hold it as close as I can to my chest, because God forbid I lose this thing, then I will have nothing, right? Sometimes that attitude is important, right? It's important to save. It's important to have what you need, but sometimes that can keep you really energetically stuck within yourself, right? It can keep you buried in loneliness because you're not willing to share, you're not willing to open. And so, the King of Pentacles, he is the wealthiest person in this entire deck. And it's a wealth that's not just material, and that's the trick. It's not just actual money, it's abundance. And abundance doesn't have, it actually has very little to do with money. Money is a stand-in. Money it's a fiat, right? We have fiat currencies. What does that mean? It means it's not real. It's an imagined thing that we all agree upon. So it's value that we have imagined and agreed to spend. So money itself isn't the thing. It's abundance, always having enough, always having a surplus that you can go out and share. So being willing to think of it in those terms helps you, because then you're not thinking about making money, you're thinking about meeting your needs. Will I always have my needs met? Will I have my needs met and more? Then the money itself doesn't matter so much. It's more about the conditions within which the money represents. Because the money is, like I said, it's an idea. It's not a thing. So by starting to treat it that way, I think that you can go out and really open yourself up to it. And that abundance is coming from the Page of Wands, which is starting to finally follow the things that inspire you, right? Because by not following those things that inspire you, maybe you think, well, the only way that I can actually get out in life and make money is by doing X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z is something I absolutely hate. I cannot stand it, but I'm going to do it because I need to do it, because I don't have the luxury of following my dreams. I was not born into wealth. I cannot get out there and do it. I have to make this money. And, maybe you have a family, maybe you have some kind of situation where you need to make money, right? I'm not discounting that, but there is some kind of pathway forward where if you're meeting your inspirational needs, because those are needs too, right? We don't just have physical needs in life. We have internal needs. We have spiritual needs. We have emotional needs. So there's something deep within you, this passion of yours that needs to be met. That is a need that you have. It's not a want, it's a need. It is a spiritual need that you have to fulfill for yourself in order to feel okay. Once you start following that, even if it's like a hobby, maybe you don't have to make money at this thing, but if there's some kind of project that working on, it doesn't have to be a project either, some kind of direction for yourself that you can do in your life, spend your time, that will really make you happy. Once you start to follow that, you start to prove to yourself that you're willing to work on these kinds of things, and that opens you up to the ability to actually be happy, right? Because you'll prove to yourself that you are worth and worthy of your own happiness. And don't be afraid to take your time at this. You've got the rest card as well. So, if you need to sleep, sleep. If you haven't been getting enough sleep, do it. It's helpful. Or if you've been sleeping, it's okay. It's okay to take breaks, It's okay to take rests. So maybe you're in a break period of your life right now. You could be in a break period. And if you're in a break period, that's okay too. This Page of Wands, page is the beginning of the inspirations. Don't feel like you have to go out and fulfill your dreams tomorrow. You don't. Just start thinking about them today. Start being here in the moment more. Start thinking about the little things that make you happy, because you're in this cocoon, right? The cocoon phase kind of looks like this: be in a burrito in bed. Maybe that's what you're at right now. Maybe you're in the burrito in bed phase. That's okay. It's the little victories that will help you, getting up and brushing your teeth today, taking a shower, and maybe washing 2 dishes in the sink. It might not be a lot, but it's a step. And those little tiny steps feel massive when you haven't done them in a long time. And they're just little tiny things that you're proving to yourself that you have the ability to do these things, right? You have the ability to take care of yourself. You have the ability to be in happier states. And the more that you practice that regularly, even those little tiny steps, practice them regularly, you end up changing everything. But it takes time, it takes dedication. So if you need to continue to be in burrito bed mode, that's okay. Let yourself be there. Don't hate yourself for it. Don't attack yourself for it. Be present with yourself. That thing about being in the moment that I kept talking at the beginning. If you are in a moment of depression, be with it. Be with it. Don't try to say, oh, I'm going to disassociate from this even more. This isn't where I am. I don't want to be here. Blah, blah, blah. Be in it. Be in it. Tell yourself it's okay. Tell yourself this is all right. I can be here in this. This is okay. I'm here. This is where I am. I'm going to be here. And I'm just going to let myself be here. And I'm going to take the break that clearly I need, because that's where I am. And that's okay. I've been there. It's not easy. But once you start to do that, and you start to see the little tiny things, start to practice a little bit of gratitude stuff. Those gratitude affirmations on YouTube have changed my life. So they're real. Look into them. It's very helpful. It's very helpful. I mean, I've had periods where everything around me is a complete and total mess. I'm living in my bed with all of my dirty clothes. I can't get out of the bed. I'll just get up and go to work when I need to, and then I'm home and I am doing nothing. I've done that. I've been there. It's real. That's a thing. Don't beat yourself up about it. Start to look at the things that you do have. Take the small steps. Don't try to do it all at once. Take the small steps. It's helpful. Anyway, pile number 5, I'm going to leave you there. That was my reading for you. Let's do a tiny bit of Reiki healing, because I actually feel like you really need it. So just repeat after me one more time here. I am open to receiving the energy clearing and healing that is being sent to me, that is in my highest good. One more time. I am open to receiving the energy clearing and healing that is coming to me, that is in my highest good. Okay, so first I am collecting the energy. And then I'm taking it and I'm shaping the energy. All right, and I'm labeling the energy, shaping it, making it what it needs to be, and sending it to you wherever it needs to be. So if you're open to that, great. If you're not, that's okay too. And that's it for me. So anyway, pile number 5, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Shout out to my editor, Preston. Thanks for doing this. Yay. And yeah, what else? Oh, I'm not currently doing private readings, but if you need to reach me for whatever reason, you can find me on my website, www.junodrome.com. I will probably do private readings again someday, but for now, I have to keep them on a pause. That's it for me for now. Catch you later. Bye.